somehow it kind of opened up a lot of doors for me. So, you know, I apologize, a lot of this stuff is repetitive, a lot of you have seen this in the past, but I had altered it, updated a little bit as progress moved. So I like to be interactive. You know, feel free to stop me in between, ask questions, and we'll keep this fun and energetic here. So, again, I want to present to you guys Defined Development. A little bit about us. It was founded by myself and my partner Noah Leon back in. We launched the company in April of 2017. We actually opened the entity then, but for a whole year we sat back. You know, we were both employed full time. We sat back and kind of planned and organized the company, strategized, put the house in order, and we officially launched the company August 15th of 2017. Hit the ground running. You know, we had 0 leads, 0 properties under development, nothing in the works whatsoever, except that we had the house in order to hit the day running from day one. You know, as I mentioned, we were employed full time, and I'm a firm believer if I'm working for somebody on their dime, I'm going to give them 100% of my effort, and that's exactly what both of us did. You know, we understand, especially myself, and I explain where I came from, understanding development. You know, it's a full-time effort. You know, some people have the idea they can do this stuff on the side. It's a possibility, but it's very, very difficult, especially if you have your focus on something else. You know, if you're working full-time during the day, and you know, you have your priorities for an employer, how are you going to make meetings in the city during the day, you know, talk to your consultants during the day? It's very hard unless you're not really working for that person. So our core focus on the company is really developing residential communities, whether it's value add or ground up development. Our long-term goal is to really build a portfolio of cash flowing assets. We don't want to be developers who are strapped for cash. You know, where's the next deal, doing the deal chase every single time. You know, we're young, we want to establish ourselves today and create that residual income for the future. So not that we're going to stop, but at that point in time, sit back and just collect some money. So that's really the ultimate goal. You know, I was one of those students, you know, born and raised here in South Florida. I know the markets, I love it down here. I don't want to leave just like with it here. You know, I'm one of those kids in college who didn't know what they wanted to do with themselves. You know, I was always good with numbers, mathematics. I thought to myself, you know, let me just do finance. You know, I want to make money. The only reason people work is to make money. Let me just do finance. That's the reason I chose that. That did open up doors for me. You know, get my foot in the door with a development company as an analyst, and I'll explain that in a few. I guess I'll start getting into ourselves here. You know, I explain a little bit about myself. I'll start with myself actually. You know, I'm a managing partner of the whole organization, the president of development. I started my career at the Altman companies. You know, having that finance degree did give me the leg into the door basically. And you know, I started as an analyst there, worked my way up the ranks, up to development manager when I left. You know, managed a bunch of their communities. You know, the Altman companies, they do Class A apartment communities, you know, 300 plus apartments in each community. So I was the one up front looking at the initial dirt, doing all the analysis on it, working with architects, engineers, putting together all the packages, working for the city, getting all the approvals and entitlements done, working with the investors, the lenders, getting the finance packages done. And of course, as my role transitioned, kind of worked my way into project management through construction, not a construction project manager, but a development manager per se, managing the construction of the process. Managed the management company throughout the process as well, you know, getting to lease up and essentially to this position on the back end, work with the investors in the back, analyzing the properties and getting the assets sold. You know, my involvement at Altman, it represented a capital investment worth $350 million in projects, so it made up of multiple different communities. I graduated from Nova back in 2016. You know, as I was in the career at Altman, you know, they are very fast-paced. I'm sure, as some of you guys here have some experience in development or real estate in general, it's a very fast-paced type of industry. They kind of throw you to the fire. You just got to figure it out, guys. To Woody's point, if you guys sit in this classroom here today, ask questions. Because when you go out to work for an employer, they're not going to direct you. They're not going to hold your hand. You got to figure it out. So take this opportunity and learn as much as you can. Ask the questions. Don't be afraid. You know, as I worked for them, there's a lot of things I was doing, not knowing why I was doing them. I was just doing them because I was told to. And as I sat here in the classroom, you know, I chose to come here to Nova because I wanted to connect all those dots. You know, I was doing a lot of things, I just didn't know why I was doing them. So sitting in the classroom, a lot of those aha moments and the light bulb kind of clicked, and I'm just sitting in the back of the classroom thinking to myself, wow, that's the reason why I'm doing all this stuff. So having experience in the front end, jumping into the program and kind of connecting those dots really gave me an advantage. It helped strengthen my understanding, and of course, fast forward here today. Currently, I'm an advisory board member of the MSRED program. I sit on the board, so again, I know some of you through the advisory program. You guys feel free to reach out. I'm an active alumni, just as Woody. We're here to help. Happy to answer any questions and guide you guys throughout any paths down your career choices here. So, my partner Noah Leon, he actually met him in our classroom, guys. So, going back to Woody's point, hard work. You know, nothing's given to you. You know, you guys can go through this program, get your degrees, but after you have a degree in your hand, what's next? If you don't go out there and grind and try to get a position somewhere, it's not going to be handed to you. So, you know, in your cohort, of course, you have people that take it very seriously. You have people that skate by, and you have those who, they're just there, right? But again, who's sitting next to you? What are their capabilities? What do they have scheming in the back of their minds? What do they think about you as their neighbor? I took the program very seriously. My partner, Noah, took the program very seriously. I had never met him in the past. The first time I met him was actually in the classroom. I saw him, took it very seriously, asked very intelligent questions, really showed the effort. He saw the same on myself. We talked throughout the program about getting into business together. You know, talk became a reality. In fact, you know, rewind a little bit. We structured the business accordingly. We launched the company in August of 2017. So again, going back to the hard work, take this seriously, guys. You're paying a lot of money for this program. Use your resources accordingly, and you never know who's sitting next to you guys. This could be your next business partner, your next investor, or your next end user. You just never know. So look around, guys. You know, my partner, we're two different people, and that's why our kind of partnership works. I'm more of the nuts and bolts. I'm a finance guy. I like more technicality. I like to sit back and analyze things, where my partner is more of the, you know, the shoot from the hip type of guy. You know, he's out there trying to jump on every single deal he sees possible, and I'm the guy saying, hold on, let's underwrite this thing. We received mentorship through the program as well. I was very privileged, so was my partner, at different times, by the way, to receive mentorship from Terry Stiles. And Terry Stiles, you know, gave us a lot of insight, talked about us getting into business, what the pros and the cons are. You know, he knew me, he knew Noah, he thought we'd be a good mix for each other. You know, he made this comment, it's probably tell everybody the same thing. It's like, I've had a lot of guys like me cost him a lot of money, and a lot of guys like Noah cost him a lot of money in his organization. He said, guys like me would just underwrite the deal to death and kill every single deal and never get one across the board. Then I have a guy like Noah who is out there chasing every single deal, hops on every single one, and then eventually jumps on a grenade and it's over. So, you know, he thought it would be a good combination for both of us since, you know, we have that different skill set. Now, one thing that we very are alike on is really our drive, our work ethic, and the way we take the seriousness of just real estate in general. We saw that in each other. Now, I'm good at certain things that he's not. Like I said, I'm more nuts and bolts financing, which he doesn't understand, but he's also different skill set, which he understands legal a lot more. He's more of a markets, capital markets guy, relationship building. I don't have that, you know, so I lean on him for those items, and he leans on me for those items. We're a two-man shop right now. You know, that's it. We do everything. You know, having a startup, it's very difficult. You know, you're running lean, your career depends on it. If you fail, that's it. You know, where's your next opportunity come? Now, don't get me wrong, if you have a banker on the back, and you can fail as much as you want, it's up to you guys. Well, I can't afford to fail. Neither can Noah. You know, we raised the capital. We created our business plan, we raised the capital, we provided to our investor. It's an angel investor, of course. We had a really good rate on capital, but by no means don't you think that this is just a friends and family deal. Here you go, here's the money, run with it, I don't care. No. We signed personal guarantees. I basically signed my life away. So did Noah. So if we fail on this, even though we have low rates on our equity and everything, we have interest on it. You know, if we fail, they're able to come back after us and take everything we have. So we had trust in ourselves, confidence per se. We trusted each other, and we kind of created our business plan accordingly. And with that being said, we understood our capabilities, and we are not fearful to say we're going to fail. Now, fast forward a little bit. You know, we're here today, a year and a half later. We still haven't sunk, so you know, we're going to keep pushing forward. So, you know, again, knowing myself, Nick, here in the program, you know, the alumni and the mentorship also served a big benefit, having Terry as my mentor. You know, when Terry got sick, unfortunately, passed away, but God bless his soul. Harry Posen, who was here this morning, I understand, gave me a little shout out also. You know, he kind of took the reins when Terry got sick and started mentoring myself and Noah throughout the process. You know, I have experience on the apartment side. We're also looking into townhome deals, we'll get into as well, the Fee Simple, which is right up you know, Harry's wheelhouse. And he's been marvelous as far as calling for help, consulting. He looks at our plans, looks at our budgets, our performance. He was actually with us yesterday, toured our property that we just completed a foundation job, which I'll show you. Gave us great feedback, and he was there to beat us over the head when we were doing the wrong thing. So, you know, this guy's an expert, so we listen to what he says. You know, by no means do I think I'm top dog, like I know the most. I take things with a grain of salt. No, absolutely not. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I don't know. And I'll be quick to admit that. You can't be an expert at in this industry. You can't. There's so many different facets of real estate, and that's why I love this industry so much, that there's so many components that all tie together to create one masterpiece, you know, the end product per se, that you can pick and choose what you're good at or what you want to do to fit into the real estate arena. Let me fast forward here. So our business structure, we have two corporate entities, defined companies and defined development. Defined companies is a holding company which actually purchases the real estate. It separates the liability, so when we're operating and we do something stupid, it can't come after us and take our property per se. And then of course the defined development corporation, that's the operating entity that we actually process all the projects through. We take this to the city or defined development. We generate a fee off the projects from defined companies, which are projects themselves are under special purpose entities, and those are the real estate projects. And I'll get into those. Like I said, guys, feel free to stop me. I talk fast sometimes, especially when I'm excited, so just let me know.
So can you go back to, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So whenever you were initially laying down your structures, what did that process look like? What kind of professionals did you pull in? And, how hard was that for you as a financial burden for getting the structures?
Well, two things. Back to the relationship building. You don't know who's next to you, but obviously I had a career at development companies. I was able to call the in-house controllers, ask the tax questions. So there's two different things. There's legal aspects of creating corporate entities, also the tax and accounting pieces that go with it as well. So I had some resources as far as the accountants to call and the controllers to ask the questions from a tax standpoint. But we actually hired a counsel to help us formulate the entities and formulate our operating agreements between myself and Noah. So yeah, it was a financial burden out of our pocket, but this industry isn't cheap, it's very capital intensive. We put some money of our life savings basically on the line as well. And we use that upfront capital to finance the upfront, deal structures, structuring the house, legal agreements and everything to get the operating company in place. That's your question?
Yep.
So a little insight on our portfolios. Our completed projects, we just completed an 8-unit renovation with a value-add opportunity in Oakland Park, Florida. Some pictures there before and after for you. That's the project that I think Harry mentioned this morning, and I'll give you some more insight on that. Currently in production, 2 development jobs, all ground up, a 22-unit apartment community, and an 8-unit fee simple town community for sale. So crawl, walk, and run, guys. I came from development communities. I was doing 300 apartment communities, basically managing on my own with the support staff, of course. Understanding that my experience coming to defined companies, it helps, but defined companies today is zero. It's nobody, basically. So when we're in front of investors and lenders, we want people to take it seriously. I grew a beard. I used to be clean shaved, but just so people think I'm older, I take it more seriously. We want to make sure that we do these things successfully. We can't afford to lose. So what we're doing is really starting small, iron out all the kinks, proving ourselves, proving our track record, and slowly growing in scale. And that's works well with us so far. The lenders, investors have loved the idea. Everybody we talk to are just basically waiting for us to get to that scale to do work with us. So as you see, we started an 8-unit renovation project, where we started a 22-unit apartment unit project, now an 8-unit fee simple town community. Value-add development. I'll get into our value-add project. When we acquired this property, it was called Alden Park. It's an existing 8-unit apartment building. This is the value-added opportunity here. The average unit size is 576 square feet. It's all 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. We closed on this. So again, we started the company August 2017. We closed on this building December of 2017, so a couple months thereafter. So we hit the ground running, find this opportunity. Guys, you got to be boots on the ground, understand your markets. I used to drive down this street all the time. It's on 38th Street. I'll show you a map in a few. See this dilapidated building every day going home, my drive down east, or going down east or back home. And thought to myself, hey, this would be a perfect building for us to acquire and do some renovations because the area itself is appreciating, it's transitioning. And we wouldn't know that if we weren't at the location every single day with boots on the ground. My initial perception, again, born and raised, my initial perception, I'm sure Woody could test this, Oakland Park as a city in a whole, I would steer far away from. And that's what my old perception of Oakland Park was, correct me if I'm wrong. And today's Oakland Park is a completely different animal. You go down to the downtown Oakland Park, it is transition. And the only way you would know that is if you're actually boots on the ground. So lucky for us, we were there, we saw the upside, and we captured this opportunity, and I'll get further into the project here. So again, we paid a little more than we wanted to for this project. We paid about $100,000 a door for small units. It was performing at a 5.3% cap rate, which is subpar, for that type of asset class, especially being so dilapidated. But, going back to due diligence, the Wood's point on that, we did all our research on the market. There wasn't no comps justifying rents per se, because the area is transition friendly, but we saw the upside, especially the location of it. We set our rents We looked at the operating expenses, what the building itself needed. We kind of put our budgets together, looked at ways to reduce our operating expenses, for example. You know, each unit had, the owner originally was paying the water service for all the tenants. There's 1 meter to the building. We saw that. I went to the city, coordinated with them, did due diligence to see if it's possible to meter each one of the units. It was possible. I understood that I can back that out, charge the tenants basically for their pro rata share of the water, or paraphrase that, their water usage rather than floating the bill ourselves. That reduced our OpEx tremendously, allowing us to create that spread just on the operating expense reduction. And not only that, all the improvements to the property we did allowed us to increase revenue. So now you reduce your expenses and increase your revenues, and we created a huge spread in between. And I'll get to what value we created. But we purchased that at 5.3% cap, like I said, subpar, understanding that the future upside, we are able to create some value. So we budgeted accordingly for interest, carry costs, and such, knowing that there might be some downtime. This is our first job as a company. We knew there might be some hiccups on the road, so we of course, budgeted had our lease forecast set accordingly. May have some slow velocity, maybe some issues in construction, so we set our timelines very conservatively. Again, conservative. Crawl, walk, and run, being conservative. We can't fail. We don't want to be too aggressive in our underwriting, because if issues happen, then you're screwed. And luckily for us, we were conservative. We understood where we're at today, what could happen. Yeah, we had a number of issues, and I'd be happy to get into those, but we budgeted for them appropriately, and it saved us today, so we're still in good shape. So we purchased it at 100% occupancy. While it was, while we had this building in our possession, we planned it. We went to the city, got our permits, and we operated it for 8 months until the following August when we started construction. So we got our permits in hand. Luckily for us, during due diligence, of course, we reviewed the leases. There was a clause in there that says that once a new owner purchases the assets, we can give 30-day notice to kick the tenants out. That's one of the reasons we purchased the community as well, because you can't just kick anybody out for the hell of it. You need to have some type of excuse for that. So that saves us in that part. So we timed everything accordingly to kick everybody out on August 1st when we started our construction. Give you a little insight of the location here. Back to knowing the market, this is what they call the downtown Oakland Park. So how familiar are you guys with Fort Lauderdale? Out of curiosity. Couple? What about the Flagler area?
Yeah.
Yeah? You guys remember what it was 10 years ago? It was a dump. It was the hood. It was bad. It really was. And you fast forward today, people that own homes there that were dumps, by the way, $150,000 home, $200,000 home, are now worth $600,000. And they didn't improve them, didn't do anything, they're still shacks. Just the land itself there has appreciated so much just because densities have changed. And it's always good to understand the current administration and the policies going through the cities. Going back down to the conversation with Woody here. When the previous administration was there, they weren't really looking at affordable housing, workforce. Of course, it changed. Now they are going down that avenue. Same thing when it goes to densities. You want to see what the vision is for the city at that point in time, because it's constantly changing. So Flagler, of course, for those that know it, it is completely transformed from 10 years ago. It's full of brand new developments, apartment communities, all kinds of retail and restaurant. Really transitioning, and appreciation has gone through the roof. Downtown Oakland Park, they're trying to do something similar. And we sat with the city, we talked to them about it, got some feedback from them, trying to understand the market. And of course, their idea is to increase densities here in the future as well. There's a lot of low residential to the east. You can see there's all single-family homes there. Here's the east. However, their delineation for downtown is basically this road here, cutting down going north and south. So they want to increase densities on this whole corridor here. They're calling this the Main Street. Funky Buddha Brewery. You guys like beer?
Sorry.
No. Okay, well, I love beer. And Buddha Brewery, they're right next door to our building. We found this to be so intriguing, and from our price standpoints and rent analysis, there's nothing we can comp to, but where can you find an apartment building that's like right next door to this brewery? That's a nice attraction for the area. This brewery actually came in. This was an old Sears warehouse, old building. They came in, they of course put the brewery in, they created a bar setting, a very awesome atmosphere. They started the transformation of this whole area. Once they came in, developers started coming in and transitioning to developing the area. So we see the upside, we came in at a good time. When I say it's right next door, you can see the star, you're right there. You could literally walk out of the brewery, fall once or twice, and still make it to your unit in good shape. So these two West Dixie lots here are also currently being proposed development. They're going to be 2 5-story buildings, 120 residential units, I believe, apartments, and 20,000 square feet of office. So a nice development's going up across here, which once that goes up, our property, of course, will capture some appreciation as well. And back to the proximity, you can see how close it is to the brewery. Those are the pictures that it looked like when we first acquired it. Development, everybody, thinks about the sex appeal of development and everything. This is nothing sex about this, guys, at all. I mean, I can't picture putting my feet in this thing. We saw the opportunity, we saw the area, we understand the market, we saw the upside of what we envisioned on doing. It made sense. So this is the stuff you got to deal with when you're, looking at this type of opportunities. And again, having a property of this type of nature, you can imagine the operating nightmare that went with this. So going back to the whole perspective of doing the things on the side, how are you going to be, addressing tenant concerns like their water heater broke or they have a leak in their bathroom while you're sitting at your employer's office basically working for them? You can't. It's very hard to do unless you have a property manager to run the property for you. But then again, it's only 8 units, guys. These small jobs are very inefficient per se. However, it's something we have to do to build our track record, and that's why we're doing these things. So, fast forward here, give you some more insight. So we took this and created a vision, and we created a Zen Garden concept, and that's what we're calling our community here. So our entity name is Zen Garden at Oakland Park Central. That is our special purpose entity that the real estate project is under. You can see our idea for the Zen Garden was an Asian contemporary theme. So we have a lot of hardscape elements, a lot of concrete decks, a lot of rocks, little Buddha here somewhere you can't even see him. I'll show some pictures. So we wanted to create a really nice atmosphere for the area. We thought that Asian contemporary feel would be great for that submarket. Give you a little idea. I like to show these pictures to see from progress how it came. We took the building, we kind of sketched up our concept. We popped out the roof line there and built a little eyebrow on the side. We changed the stair orientation on the front of the building. It used to go straight down. You can see the plan, it curved sideways. So we could fence it all in. We wanted to do this cool arch here to add to the Zen, but the city wouldn't allow us. So back to the coordination piece with the city and everything else, you really have to understand what you can actually build before you put your money where your mouth is. So we understood that, we killed it, and this is what we ended up with as our permanent plan. Side of the building, you see the courtyard, just the typical breezeway. You can see our design intent. This is now horizontal. It changed, but you can see it here on the permanent plan. Big difference. And then we took our plan and created rendering from it. That's kind of our concept or our vision of what the community would look like. We brought it to life.
Wow.
That's Zen Garden today.
Where'd you get your rendering?
The rendering was done by Box Browning, I think it's called. Or very cheap, by the way, guys. If you want the contact info, I can use it.
Just piggybacking on what he said, did you get a GC?
Yes.
Oh.
So taking a step back, we did get a general contractor. With that comes the excessive fees, general contractor fees. But what we did so I'll take them a step back. When we first started formulating the company, we talked about what our biggest risks were. I know what I know. No one knows what he knows. I know what I don't know. Construction. I'm not a builder. I don't know assemblies. I can pick up a hammer and put a nail in the wall. That's easy. But I can't build a building. My biggest risk and concern was basically being screwed by the contractor. It's very easy for that to happen. They can put numbers in their pricing that you don't even know about, different takeoffs, plus as far as quantities, and tell you about issues and hit you with change orders that you just don't know about. So that was one of our biggest risks. What we said was, how do we mitigate that? So what we did was we introduced a number of GCs up front before we had any projects in the pipeline. And we wanted to find a small scale niche guy that would kind of want to grow with us. Had his business established, knew how to build, but also was a small shop to where he sees the upside with us and will try to take advantage of us and kind of grows with it. So far that worked out amazing. So we treat him as a third party. However, what we did to structure our deal and align our interests as the owner is we gave him a small piece of profits of our profits on the back end. So full third party GC still making his full fee as if we were just nobody, but he's also making a piece of profits on the backside. So that helped us get a lot of the coordination up front out of him, made him look at the plans with us and budget it accordingly. Very trustworthy individual, and I'm glad we went through these experiences with him on this small project. Because with a small scale shop comes small scale issues as well, which we realize and we're helping him address. So as a team, we're helping ourselves grow together. So yes, we did hire a GC, and he gave us a third party rate, as I mentioned, but with that whole idea of partnering per se, it mitigated a lot of the risk and it went pretty smoothly. So here are some interior pictures. That's how the existing conditions before. A little sketch of the kitchen. There's our rendering that we did, very contemporary feel, and then we brought it to life. I'll go back and forth with you guys. I find this pretty cool. So we did a lot of changes to units, small spaces. We put in all-in-one washer dryers under the counter. We had the mini split units because the ceiling itself didn't have the space in the truss for the ductwork for the HVAC or central AC. So we went with the mini split here. Worked out pretty well. From an energy efficiency standpoint, things are awesome. You can turn on this blower individually or sync it with the other ones in the room and set different temperatures. So it works out pretty well. Everybody loves the design, and especially for a trendy area like this that's kind of upcoming and transitioning. This is a perfect fit for everybody. Everybody loves what they see it so far. Luckily, this is the Zen Garden itself. As soon as you open the door, you feel at home. We want to create that experience. I come from the Altman company so a while. Joel Altman was also one of my mentors, taught me a lot. I sat with him, and he was the type that even though he was the chairman of the company, he would still get down to the details and pick the right color in the carpet. That's how involved he was. And he did that because he was passionate. He loved what he did. His whole motto was creating exceptional apartment living, was his motto. And what we need to do is do the same thing, basically. Understand that it's not just living, it's also an experience. You want to come home and feel like you're home, not just this is your apartment. So, you open up the gates and this is the first thing you see, it feels like home. And everybody loves it as well. And a little night shot for you guys. And a little summary. So you can see the comparison from before and after that. So we started construction August 1st, 2018. We completed it recently, this past January. We're currently 87.5% occupied. We've got one more lease to go. Average rent now, before we were getting, if you guys recall, we were getting about $850 in average rent. We increased them to $1,543 average, almost double. We're getting $2.68 a foot. So our stabilized operating yield is at 7.1% once we get this next tenant in. We bought this at a 5.3% gap. So you guys can see the spread in between. And NOI on this property now is about $96,000, so you guys can do the math on cap rates in the market and see what the property's worth then. Our total investment on this job was about $1.3 million. Another job, Roundup Development, Palm Air Preserve. There's 22 units we're working in Fort Lauderdale. It's a 3-story garden-style apartment community made up of 2 different buildings. We have 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms on the property. Show you a little, just aerial of the site itself, some concept renderings, and this concept 3D image for you guys to get a sense of, the little progress here. We executed the contract on October 18th of 2017. Mind you guys, we started the company August 15th. 2 months later, we signed a contract for our first project. We got site plan approval actually last January, so you can see the amount of time and effort it takes just to get the site plan approval. This is through the city of Fort Lauderdale. We'll talk about some of the issues we had on this thing in a few years. We received the plat approval as well from the county commission this past February. This site was zoned to right, so going back to risk mitigation, we were looking for sites that are zoned and have entitlements in place where we're going to have to go over and beyond to try to get the approvals. Because the last thing we need to do is spend a lot of money on a project in front of the city commission and get shut down by them and or the community. We're trying to avoid that. So this was zoned to right. The only thing that it needed was a plat. And the plat process is very time consuming here in Broward County. You're looking at a minimum of 12 months, and that's if the stars align and perfectly. So, we're currently awaiting site and building permits. We're going to have to sit down coordinating our permits, and we're looking to start construction June 19th. I want to say something about this construction start here because this is kind of interesting. Going back to who you sit next to. Now, this is between us today because it's not official. I can't name any names yet until it's out there. But going back to the conversation with our GC, understanding what he's good at and what he's bad at. He's very good at building. He's very good at assemblies, understanding